Okay.
What's on this? Some weird stuff going on. That's us.
I'm glad you guys were happy with that.
Ron! Leticia. Yeah. It's just different. That's what I was saying.
Just gotta be good. You have sound?
I can't hear it on here, but it's playing. It's picking it up. So we're good.
You sure?
Yeah, I can hear it.
I didn't listen to that. Oh, okay.
Just gotta be good. You have sound?
You know what I'm saying?
No,
I got
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Well, howdy.
It's the middle finger app that you have.
Middle finger app? Oh, the nudge app? It's not a middle finger.
Wow. What's that do?
It's a... Baptist Health Foundation did like this health thing through that. They had like a health coach, fitness coach.
And so that's like a reminder or what?
Yeah, it's like a nudge.
Sort of nudge.
So Hannah and I would get notifications from...
You get nudges.
On the nudge app. But here's the problem. Like, I'll get one, and I don't remember the password, so I'm not even logged in. So I get the reminder, but I can't look at it because I'm not logged in anymore. So
why would you just say forgot password?
I haven't gone through it.
Oh my gosh.
But
awesome.
Come on.
yeah. So it's a great app.
Good job.
No.
Oh, I would say come on.
No, good.
Well, greetings. Hello, everybody. The millions of you.
Hello.
Oh, I cannot do that.
What?
Nanu.
You can't do that.
No.
What's wrong?
Can you do this one?
No.
There's something on the internet that says, like, most of the people in the world can't touch their fingers together either. Pinky
That one I don't think I can do. Oh, on this side I can. I can't do that on
Wait,
this
which
side.
one?
Pinky
And your
Like
pointer.
that?
pointer finger. Yeah.
Oh, I can't
I don't
do
believe
this
that.
side.
Everybody I've asked that to can do it.
I can do this side. I can't do this side.
Uh,
I don't know what it is. Although I've had some serious hand problems. I probably
This-
need to go see some
I cannot do that one, though.
arthritis doctor or something. My elbow.
just
is-
takes practice. I used to not be able to do this, but once I...
That's crazy.
You know, they say that if your hand is bigger than your face.
Nah. Yeah.
I've heard something about that.
Let me see.
Can I see? Well, hello, everybody. It's
Prove
Wednesday
it.
night. It is Wednesday night. It's the middle of the week.
Hump day, Mike.
Midweek live.
Midweek live. Alamo Heights Baptist Church greetings for you hundreds that are watching. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from, and who you're watching with.
Just how we said that.
I hadn't said it in a while.
Look, we got like 1.6 million.
That's the word live. That's not
Oh,
the
I didn't
Roman
read my
numerals.
glasses.
That's not Roman numerals for
I didn't read my glasses.
Well, for you 1.6 million, greetings. We weren't here last week. Missed you guys.
Yeah, we were dying. I know we were. I know what you guys are doing.
You were dying? Oh, you
Yeah.
people were sick at your house.
Yeah.
But now, not all of you are dying, just some of you.
Yeah. It took like a week per person, and then it jumped to the next person. So this is like week number 4 of this stuff in the house. Kind of annoying.
Bummer.
Maybe we should get rid of some people.
That's...
I'm not dying.
No, have you told people?
No, I haven't told anybody.
No.
Because technically I haven't had my doctor's appointment yet. My doctor texted me, that's
Oh.
why. But I got a good report.
That's good.
So
That's good.
we'll find out Friday exactly how good it is, but
And then talk on Sunday?
yeah.
Unless you're watching now.
Well, I thought about this. Like, it's Celebration Sunday, Senior Sunday, and I thought, I want to ruin... I'm not going to say anything.
No.
So you have to wait.
I just...
Tune in next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Well, yeah.
For
Technically, I
report.
haven't seen my doctor, but my doctor texted me. He was really cool. Urology San Antonio, Dr. Zainfeld, great dude. I know, I gotta believe he's watching.
We know he is.
But he was
Half
like,
the world is watching.
he texted me and was like, hey, waiting is the worst. Good report. And he sent me a screenshot of his laptop,
Cool.
which was cool.
Like you can read his laptop, like you know what you were looking at. Or
That's
Getting
why
a
I
good
can't wait.
password.
No, I could read.
It's like his desktop, just a random photo.
There were some words I understand and some words I don't understand.
Gotcha.
But the ones I did understand were good
Were
ones.
good words.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Stock photo
Praise
from
God.
Microsoft.
it was a stock photo.
It was the wrong file. It
Yeah.
was somebody else's.
Oh, this mine.
Wait, Bobby, my fault.
Wrong Bobby.
Wrong Bobby.
Bobby.
That's horrible. Why are we laughing at that?
Anyway.
Thank you, Lord.
That was a good report.
That's awesome.
But I'll find out more Friday. That's in 2 days.
Gotcha.
What else? Oh, yeah. So last Wednesday, Ella is Cambridge only goes to 5th grade, and then you go to the middle school. So last Wednesday was her Spanish immersion program. Got together all the families, had some burgers.
Cool.
So that was good. And then she graduates. I don't know why they call it graduation. I don't know how I feel about that. Like it's not.
I was talking to Norma about that the other day. We didn't do any of that when I was in school.
Yeah, now they do.
I didn't
kinder.
graduate anything until
Yeah.
I graduated high school,
Part of the participation trophy.
I guess.
Like 6th grade was awesome. That was the end of elementary for me, and we had like this big Olympics, and like the last week is like a big deal, but it wasn't graduation.
Yeah.
But they do like she practiced today, walking.
Did she buy a cap and gown?
No, they don't do cap and gown.
This little kindergarten one that my mom works with. They do like cap and gown and everything.
Really? I passed by the Presbyterian church last week too, and they were out there in their purple cap and gown. That's a preschool.
Oh wow!
Dang.
Yeah, you can graduate from preschool.
Maybe I'd like school if I graduated all the time.
I feel like you accomplished something.
Yeah,
You didn't have to wait
yeah.
Honey, it's 2nd grade.
10 years.
But anyway, so that's happening tomorrow for us,
That's cool.
which is cool.
That is cool.
But
They do it at the school.
yeah, but it's closed to like the public, so
Sure.
we will watch it.
Oh, you can't even go?
No.
Oh, that's kind of dumb.
So we'll watch it, but then
That's
we'll be
fun.
close because
You can't show your right hand or your forehead that you got the vaccine and you're good to go in? Oh.
your
Scan
right
your
hand
chip.
or your forehead.
No, they scan your chip.
Then
Oh, you
we,
scanned your chip?
They scan the chip.
so dumb.
Nobody caught that?
Yes, I caught it. So dumb.
It's awesome. It's good stuff right there, man. I love me some good
Not
stuff.
only are you gonna get kicked out of seminary, but you're gonna get fired from this
the
church.
church.
I'm pretty sure Al Mohler is watching this.
Yeah,
right now.
probably.
They're not going to do it outside.
No, they do it inside.
That's kind of dumb. That they
Okay.
won't let you guys go.
Well, so it's done at like 12, so then we pick her up and we go to lunch.
Oh, it's not in the evening.
No,
Oh.
it's during school.
Oh, okay.
They ran out the Alamo Dome for it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's at the AT&T Center.
6.
Oh, speaking of the AT&T Center.
Spurs lost.
So I had my doctor's appointment last week
Yeah.
before I went out of town. I
Mhm.
went and did my CT scan, blood
Mhm.
work, all that.
Mhm.
I had a Zoom meeting right afterwards, so I went to, it's down the street from the Marriott at Medical Center, coffee shop. So I went down to the Marriott,
Mhm.
set up shop, got a coffee. I'm in my Zoom, and while I'm paying attention, I had to stop paying attention because in my little window behind me was Patty Mills.
Nice.
And so in the chat I said, check out who's behind me. And
Nobody
so,
knows.
well, yeah, they were not
I
people
was
from
going to
San
say, they
Antonio.
didn't know who it was.
Well, so I turned around and I kind of gave him that bro,
Yeah.
and then I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And so I told the daughters this, and Hannah was like, "That's not impressive." Daddy knows Patty Mills.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I do.
They had coffee together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daddy knows Patty Mills. But that was cool.
It was before or after they lost.
This
That would have been after.
was no.
No?
Oh yeah, it would have been
Playing
after.
game? Oh, okay.
Obviously, he was at Marriott Coffee hanging out. Yeah.
But
So that was kind of a cool highlight last week.
it's a cool highlight.
But
good.
anyway, we're back. Join us Sunday, 10:30. Thank you, Leighton.
Are you preaching?
I am preaching.
No, that's good. Well, I don't know. You just never do it anymore. So.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of what we pay you for.
Yeah, I figured might as well keep it going.
We had a missionary. We had you, and I'm back.
Awesome. You know what you're talking about? Oh, I did. Are
No,
you talking about? No.
I changed it.
Yeah.
I changed it from that. Do you like my chalkboard? I have a chalkboard now.
It's
Yeah,
very,
sure.
very retro. Did you find it in one of the Sunday school rooms
Yeah.
in the church?
It's very Green Bay Packers.
It's very green and yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I except for you didn't screw it in all the way.
No, because this is a thin piece of like it's like
Glue
glue
on or
on.
something?
It's
So
like
it's
glue
like-
on board. It's all Cinnablock. It's outside.
Oh.
It's cement, not
Cement.
Cinnablock. It's
So you
cement.
just Yeah, that's literally all the further you can
That's as far as I can go.
Nice.
And they're long. They're like 3-inch screws.
Gotcha.
So
It's not gonna fall though.
no.
What's it say up there in the corner? Something department.
AHBC ladies class.
Nice. Where was it? Where did you find it?
Okay, so you know the back stairwell downstairs.
Yeah.
In that back corner, there's that creepy room.
Yeah.
Found it in there.
You think that was their Sunday school room one time? Because that's super.
That's
small.
where it was hanging.
Oh, it was hanging
in there.
It was on the wall.
Wow.
So I took it off the wall.
You think there was a problem where Sunday school classes were stealing other Sunday school classes' chalkboards, so they had to write on it what class it was?
AHBC department ladies class. That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
Thought I'd hang it up.
Yeah, it is cool. I like it. It's good.
So anyway, I will be preaching. I won't tell you on what because it's a surprise for the graduates.
Surprise.
It's for everybody, I guess.
Supplies.
So you have to come?
Yes, you do. You have to come. You have to be here. And then that's the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And then June 6th, which is the following Sunday, our Bible studies on Sunday mornings coming back.
Sunday school.
Baby, it's back.
Get to see Frank live and up close.
Frank will be live. He came today. I recorded him, and then he's excited.
Yeah, is it a new series or is it like right in the middle of it?
It's a new series. So they finish Luke. They'll finish Luke, and then it'll be a new one.
What's the new one? Do you know by chance?
Oh, it's downstairs. We could open the box. I don't know what it is.
So it's a good time to jump in.
I think
because it's starting a new series.
Yeah.
June 6th.
I was gonna say
9:30.
yes. Well, actually,
9:15 coffee.
he was like, "Hey, I noticed on your email you put 9:15. I had told you 9:30," and I said, "Yeah, people like to be late." So
if I say 9:30.
I told everybody, and I'm outing this now live here and recorded.
That's awesome.
He goes, "Oh, good idea." Yeah. So I told everybody 9:15.
So Sunday church starts at 10:15.
Yeah. So I be on time.
Be on time.
Be on time.
That's good. Cool.
But yeah, so that's what's happening here. I sent a couple emails out today. The first one, what did I send the first one out? I just went blank. Oh, it was about tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about GC2, which we'll get in a little bit more. And then tomorrow is Advocacy Day 2021, which is Texas Baptist has a ministry arm that's called the Christian Life Commission. And they're in Austin, and they help with advocating for different things that go to the state capitol.
Where's Texas Baptist offices?
Dallas. Rambler Road.
Rambler Road,
Dallas.
Bummer.
Is it in a church? Like they rent offices from a church, or it's
No,
the same
it's a building owned, I believe, by Baylor Scott and White, the hospitals,
building? Okay.
and they're on the 12th and 11th floor, 11th and 12th floor.
There's that many people on staff?
No, the
Oh.
building is Baylor Scott and White.
Sure.
But yeah.
Texas Baptist has 2 floors of it.
Oh yeah.
So they have that.
Mm-hmm.
How many employees does Texas Baptist have?
I can show you the directory.
Well,
and
that's
you can
cool.
count them, but yeah, it's
I didn't realize there was that many people on board,
Mhm.
like on staff.
yeah.
Cool.
What's really cool. So I was for 3 days in Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of things happening right now. So not only is Texas Baptist, we're in Texas, but we have partners and affiliates and church plants. We have a partnership with the Pacific Northwest Baptist Association.
Okay. Cool.
We're beginning to partnership with the New York Baptist Association.
Okay.
And
Does every state have their own Baptist association?
for the most part, there's like their own associations, but really what's happening is these are SBC associations
Okay.
that are saying we don't want to be in the SBC anymore.
Should we be putting that out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To 1.6 million people?
Yeah. To all of them wanting.
No, this has already happened.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
essentially what's happening. So they're looking for people to be associated with.
Cool.
It's kind of cool. There was a group from Louisiana that was asking,
Oh,
"Yo, people."
Christian Cajuns.
Christian Cajun Navy.
Hey.
Man, I do like those people.
If they're all like you, I'll take them. They
Man,
come and hang out.
they can hang out.
Cool
They'll
people.
cook for you.
They're Aries' people
Good
too.
folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does a really good like Cajun Louisiana accent when he gets going. It's hilarious. It's pretty good.
But anyway, so good stuff. So anyway, that's happening. But let's talk GC2. So GC2, I've heard this, and I thought it was kind of cheesy at first.
Because it is.
Yeah,
It
I was
is.
gonna say, do we have to say GC2?
No, we
Can
don't.
just-
But so I'm talking about the genesis, like where it started, and I was like, same thing. Like I don't want to call this GC2, but it stands for
It's good though.
the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. That's the two.
Which one's the first one?
The Great Commandment is first.
I don't know.
Well, I think
in Scripture it's first.
In Scripture, it's in Matthew 22
Sure.
first, and
Right.
then Matthew 28 is the Great Commission.
Right. GCs.
So GC2, but then kind of the tagline with it is share, show love, share Christ, show love. So yeah, so to kind of
I
like,
hate those E's.
you do?
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I didn't come up with
It's
this.
just
That's
those
right.
lines.
Super equal signs.
I don't know why. Because everything else looks normal, and then it's like. Anyway, great slogan.
Share Christ, show love.
And before we jump into this, I just have to say we were listening to Joseph's story on the way home.
Again?
To school this morning with the kids. 2 years is a long time. Like, I'm still on it, man. I'm just saying, Joseph is still in prison. Anyway, okay.
Are you telling that to your kids?
No, well, I'm just saying, like,
Millie,
it's
Joseph is still in
he's
prison.
still in prison. Think about it.
And how old will Millie be when Joseph gets out?
From now, well, 9 now. But it depends. If we're going off of when we started talking about it, she'll be 8. This is still anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, cool. Share Christ, show love.
Yeah.
So I
In prison.
emailed this out, and I also text you guys. So, like, what does this mean for us? Does it mean anything for us? Should it mean anything for us? Not necessarily because it's a Texas Baptist thing, but scripturally speaking, biblically, how does this apply to us?
It's a good connection between the two. I liked it. I guess I never thought of connecting the two of them.
So maybe we should read them, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Sure.
I'm going to
You
read...
gonna start in 22?
Yeah, I'll read 22, 36 through 40. Do you want to read the other one?
Sure.
I have 16 to 20 on Matthew 28.
Yeah.
Mostly, everybody just starts at
It's an
18. But I think,
Yeah.
and for my point
Great
too,
revelation.
yeah, whatever, it's a great revelation.
Okay, Mark's the best book. Nobody.
Anyway, Matthew 22, 36 through 40, this is the first of the GC2, share Christ, show love. Teacher, this is an expert in the law going to Jesus. Teacher, which command in the law is the greatest? He said to him, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and most important command. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets depend on these two commands. Popcorn. Isn't that what you're supposed to say? Like when you popcorn read? You never heard of that?
Yeah, but
When I was like in the 6th grade.
maybe
I thought it was just a
Popcorn.
movie snack.
No.
movie snack. No, but like the teacher would say before you started reading, you wouldn't
Oh.
just say popcorn.
I think I was that kid that was always like, popcorn!
Stupid. Love it. Okay, I thought you were going to discuss. You want me to go straight into mine?
Yeah, read yours and then we'll go.
So, a couple pages over is the Great Commission, and it starts in Matthew 28:16. Then the 11 disciples went to Galilee to the mountain. 11. Ooh. Tough stuff. Went to Galilee to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. Then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I command you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age.
So I think most people who are watching, maybe most, are saying like, well, duh, no brainers. Like, we don't need any explanation. It's like it's pretty self-explanatory, right?
That's what I was thinking, but okay.
But I think we still miss this.
What are we missing?
Well, so first of all, Matthew 22, when the expert of the law goes to talk to Jesus and ask him, like, he's also pointing out the fact that I think what we do, like,
What's he really trying to do there? Yeah.
I'm not a murderer. I'm not a liar. So he's taking the 10 Commandments, right? And he's saying, man, I haven't, like, I'm doing great. I'm a great Jewish first century individual. I'm an expert of the law, so I know it. Like, he's got it memorized.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also at the same token trying to prioritize. Okay, so which one of these is like, okay, Jesus, like, if it is you who says, like, you are connected to God, you are one, you're the Messiah, you're the Savior, so which one really do I need to have I think we do that.
Well, yeah, and not only that, they were asking him. So what's a great philosophical question of the day that people can debate endlessly on? I can't really think of one because I don't really get into that. But
Philosophical.
like a philosophical question that people would debate endlessly on.
Baptism.
Okay, well I was trying to think of something more along like random lines, but you went theology again.
I thought that's where you were going.
Well, I don't care. So there's things that we debate all the time.
Calvinism.
Sure. Calvinism, oh my god. Maybe you're hitting me with hard stuff. What I'm trying to say is like the Pharisees and the Sadducees had these great questions that these were endless debates, always happening, non-stop debates.
Those
in
are
their
two
communities.
really good
Those
ones.
are two really good ones actually that you bring up. So, but within that, the Sadducees come out and they're going to send, you have the taxes question, you have the resurrection question, you have the Great Commandments question, you have the who is the Christ question. Is that when they finally give up, or is there another one?
No.
I think that's the last one. I think there's 4 of them.
Yeah, that's it.
So basically, they're trying to
Chapter 22 of Matthew.
right. They're trying to catch Jesus off guard, trip him up, trying to prove that he's not all that in a bag of chips. And so they're desperately trying to, get under his skin or just prove him wrong, right? So the Sadducees send their best guy, and the verse you didn't read says that 34 there says that hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees because Jesus just shut them up. Now the Pharisees get together, so they have a powwow and say, "What is the hardest question that we can think of?"
Yeah.
And this is it because what you have to understand is that we're talking about Moses wrote 10 commandments.
Heavy law.
So even if you start from there, just those 10, you have to say, okay, well, which is the greatest there? Then you got like the Jewish Pharisees who now have extended to like 600 or whatever it is. So now it's like, well, which one of these? Basically, if you could only pick one, right? When people ask those questions, one restaurant for the rest of your life to eat
Who's your favorite child?
Which one would you eat at? Oh, easy. But within that, the idea is Rosario's, right? Yeah, and nobody would eat at one restaurant anyway. So some of these questions, they're just redundant, dumb questions that they're trying to pick a fight.
Right. Publicly too. They're trying to get
a video. Yeah. And this is in front of people, and so this is a great question. The problem is Jesus is just awesome. So he silences them too. But they come back at him with another one.
He doesn't just silence him.
Yeah, he does.
He puts
them in their place.
Well,
owns them.
He owns them.
Well, I guess what I was getting at is the silencing part isn't necessarily the best part. The part is what he says.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. No, but within that also, it's funny. If God is all powerful, can he heat up a burrito so hot he can't eat it? Like sometimes we get these ridiculous questions.
Has Jesus tried the ghost pepper?
right. We get these crazy questions, and I think sometimes we feel like we have to answer them. Obviously, we're not Jesus, so we're not going to come up with these amazing things and words that he said. That's what they're doing here. They're just throwing out these ridiculous questions to him.
And I guess so. What I was getting at,
ultimately, he says they're all important. He says they're all important. Love the Lord your God, which is like the first 3 commandments, and then love your neighbor as yourself, which is the last 7. So it's like all of them are important. He just words it differently.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Because he's so smart.
Because he's a genius.
Perfect.
But we still struggle with this today.
Well, yeah.
Loving God.
With everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
2 weeks ago when I wasn't preaching.
That seems to be a common theme.
That was Joshua's sermon, this idea of, like, what is it that we love,
yeah.
right? What is it that we love is eventually going to become our idol.
Yeah.
And it's what we worship. And so that's a great question. And I think we do struggle with that. That's why I don't think we can just skip past these, like, oh, no brainer, duh, I got these memorized. It's on my Bluebonnet coffee mug, right? Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind. You can add all of it in there.
Yeah, that's good.
And then love your neighbor as yourself. And then verse 40, if anything, that's probably the heaviest of all the verses there in that little group. Mm-hmm. On these two, so on loving God and then on loving your neighbor, the whole law and prophets are hanging on those.
Yeah. Basically, if you can do those 2 things, you're good.
Brings balance, brings order, brings peace. Not that it's easy to do, but brings that balance and peace. Yeah, that's good. Is the great commandment or commandments different than the Great Commission?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I don't know if I would have ever tied the two together, like GC2. But yes and no. Obviously, the Great Commandment.
Wait, time out. Before we go there, why would you not tie them together?
Well, I don't know. I just never tied them together. You have?
No, I'm just asking. Because I thought the same thing. I don't...
Why wouldn't you tie them together? I guess ultimately, when I started thinking about it, love the Lord your God is, right, the most greatest, so that's the first GC. The second GC, which is the Great Commission, is almost the second
neighbor
part.
As yourself.
Right. Which is why I was saying, like, I never tied them together, but I love the fact that somebody was smart enough to do it. So that's cool.
Thank you, Dr. Hardage.
Was that who it was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good job. So it's a great tie together. I just never would have tied them together.
So then the question was, are they different? And not necessarily different. Different context that Jesus is talking in.
Right. But he doesn't. I guess the Great Commandment could tie in the Great Commission. I don't know if the Great Commission ties in the Great Commandment. In the verses. I think they definitely overlap outside of the verses. Because obviously you can't make disciples unless you're loving the Lord your God. But I think the Great Commandment is saying that if you love your neighbor as yourself, you're going to go to all the world preaching the gospel and baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the tie lapse. The tie lapse? I don't think that's
what you just said. I don't think those are
I don't
words.
think that-
Speaking of not going together.
That doesn't exist.
The time lapse? Time lapse? The tie over? The tie together?
Tie
Yeah.
in.
The tie-in? Tie lapse?
Thailand?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dang, I just heard it right there. On Saturday, I'm working with this group of people, volunteers at Blueprint. And I am sitting there explaining this, like, to perfection. My words are on point, right? And I'm getting these blank looks at me like, what? Like, how are you? And so this lady, she seems to be an intelligent lady. Like, she's in her 50s or 60s. Fill the buckets, the orange nails, 2 of them. Fill the other bucket up with the roofing nails, and then the fourth one, fill it halfway full, right? And I'm not saying these words, and I'll tell you the word I said, and I want to see if you guys have heard it before. And I'm saying that, and everybody's looking at me like,
You said pale.
I said clear full.
Oh, yeah.
Fill them clear full, clear full, clear. And she's looking at me like, and I say it like 100 times. Finally, she just stops and says, I don't know what clear full means. And I look at her like, what do you mean? Clear full? Fill it. Nobody there had ever heard this term clear full. Is that not a thing?
We say plum full.
Plum full. I feel like I need to call all my Wisconsin people and say, is clear full something I made up, or do we say that?
I've heard you say it before.
And I guess in my mind, I'm just connect the dots, lady. But I can see what she was confused as.
Because we always add the plum. It's plum full.
But it was one of those moments where I'm like,
that before.
I've heard that before. I've actually heard plum full. It was one of those moments where literally there was like a culture barrier. Wisconsin to Texas trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I want to say time, what did I say?
Time lapse.
Tie lapse.
So GC1,
clear full.
the first part.
Yeah.
It's just clear full.
It's just clear full. Love the Lord your God.
Love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. And that's where the share.
Both are impossible, by the way.
Whoa, okay. Well, you need to explain that.
No, I don't. You can't do it.
You can't love God and love others.
No. With all your heart, soul, mind, no.
Can you attempt it?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, he also, in John 13, he also deals with the second part. He changes the second part, so I'm a little bit reading into it a little bit too. Because he changes the great commandment in John 13.
Love your neighbor.
Love your neighbor as I have loved you.
Right.
15. 13? I think it's John 13.
Because 15 is
15 is husbandman. 13, I think, is he changes it to you must love those around you as much as I.
Or does John get it right?
Well, no, he says I'm going to change the command. He actually goes into it. It's pretty cool if you've never caught it before. But so I'm just saying, like, you can't love people and you can't love God as much as what this thing is telling us to. At least I don't think you can. Not of your own human accord.
Okay, that's what you needed to clarify.
When you compare it with how Jesus loved, we
Right.
can't do that.
Right.
And that's what, like, love your wife as I have loved,
Love the churches.
Oh yeah, well dang man, I'm just throwing random stuff out today.
Yeah, love your
husbands
wife.
submit to your wives, and husbands
love
love
the
your
church.
wife as much as Christ loved the church, right? So we can't do that either, and I think that's the whole point. Is that this is stuff that takes. It's literally like because the Pharisee wants to say I can do these things. The Pharisee in us says I can earn my salvation. I can love the Lord your God with all my heart. But if you could do that, you wouldn't have needed Jesus. Jesus would not have died in vain if we can do it without him. Did I go somewhere you totally didn't want to? I'm so sorry.
Well, no, maybe this will play it. I guess I guess the reason why I'm giving you the blank stare, the clear full blank
the
stare.
clear full blank stare.
You got to push that thing.
I said that I drink it all. I'm so
Oh
sorry.
no.
I
There you
drank
go.
it all already.
No, there's no way you
something
can.
in
Oh,
there.
okay.
Some futuristic thing. I don't know how to work.
Spaceships.
I don't know who's watching
What does that mean?
because
What?
I don't know who's watching that hears that and say, well, then why even do this?
Well, I'm asking some of those questions right now as I go through Theology 1,
Yeah.
which makes me want to punch myself in the face.
That's what he wants us to do, is to love each other.
Right. Doesn't mean we don't try.
Yeah.
We have to do it within the context of him.
Right.
That's the issue. Is that we try to do it in our own strength.
Okay. That's different from just blanket saying,
Well, I like
you can't do this.
But that has more.
That's what I'm getting
That
at.
has more effect on the individual.
Well, it does. That's what I said. I don't know who's watching, but they certainly have either turned it off or they're never coming back to this church.
Try if you want, but you will
Try if you
fail.
want, but you're going to hell.
Yeah. I know you tried to be loved today, but you can't.
Well, you can't. I mean,
In this
It's
life,
like-
it will
it's
not
like-
be perfect. We
correct.
will not get it.
it's like Ecclesiastes. Everything on this side of the sun. Like
Yeah.
it's depressing. It's broken. It's messed up. And Joseph's still in jail. And so when you look at life, I'm just going to come at the depressed side.
And I just think I have
You're
more
the pastor.
hope.
You can love on.
I just think I have way
I'm
more
going to sit
hope.
over here and just condemn him. You can't
Someday
do it.
Joseph's going to get out of jail.
He is.
So-
and when he does, it's going to be glorious.
Okay,
Until
so-
that moment, we're going to starve.
Jesus eventually is arrested.
Yeah.
They get their wish.
Mhm.
He gets flogged. He gets crucified. He dies. Jesus actually dies.
But you want to go into that?
But he
theological
rises back to life. He raises.
thing? He raises.
He raises. He comes back to life.
Clear full to life.
Right?
Yeah.
He starts showing up to people. And he hangs around for 40 days, which this last Sunday was Pentecost Sunday. Surprised you didn't
Was
go
it
there.
really?
Yeah.
You missed it.
It was Pentecost Sunday.
Kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
Oops.
All authority, power given to you, and obviously not given.
Wow, but this wasn't Pentecost.
I know, but
Oh.
it just reminded me that, hey, because I said he hung around for 40 days.
Could have spoken tongues if you wanted.
He hangs around. He starts showing up to more and more people. So then we get to Matthew 28, right? Verse 16, the 11 disciples, and you highlighted 11, they went to Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had told them to go. When they saw him, they worshiped him. And this is what, okay, you talk about your struggling.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys. They struggled.
I don't know if I saw these three words until this last couple of weeks, last week and a half. But some doubted.
It's good.
I think there are more people, if we were really honest, not wanting to be honest enough to say, I struggle with loving God and loving other people. Because if there were some that Jesus hung around and they experienced Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection, and they were there on the mountain, when Jesus is about to say what he's saying, there's still some there doubting, then how many more people are here today doubting? In our churches, in our communities, in our families, ourselves. But some doubted. I think before we put programs, practice,
Another P.
5 with the PH. Before we put
the PHIVE.
Yeah.
Practice programs on 5.
Before we put 5 steps into place that try to accomplish going and making disciples and baptizing and teaching and doing all of this stuff, we have to deal with the fact that some are doubting.
Yeah, but yeah.
Not saying that it's bad to doubt, because I think you said it earlier, right? Like, Jesus wants us to think and ask these kind of questions. So I don't think it's necessarily condemning that we need to start pointing, you doubt and you doubt, and like it's not condemning. But I think it's important to like sit in it with people to say, yeah.
Well, I mean, that goes back to what I was preaching on Sunday. There's a reason why we believe what we believe. Just because you don't know that reason doesn't mean that there's not one.
I heard I laughed. So Sunday I wasn't here, obviously. I was in church on Sunday morning. My flight got to Dallas, and I went straight to church.
Nice, good for you.
Which was really cool. I had a driver.
Nice.
He held a sign.
Nice.
And he was like, his name was Jordan. Jordan, really cool guy. Anyway, he was like, Mr. Bobby, he's from the Middle East.
Okay.
I'm taking you to the hotel. I said, well, can you take me somewhere else? No, I'm not paying for this. This is someone else paying. It's like, I'm going to go to church today. And he was like, why would you go to church? I was like, you could come in with me. Like, just park and we'll go in. He was like, I got to go pick up more people. But anyway, really cool guy. But I went to church Sunday. Cool. I went to church at Shiloh's Harris Baptist Church. Then I got to my hotel. I watched you. And then it was good. It was really good. Took notes. And then I watched Matt Chandler. I watched the Village Church.
Now I'm like...
No, but you were... This is what he said in his sermon, though. He said... They were
That's when he took a nap.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to catch a nap.
He said...
I watched all of... And...
Sleep during Leighton's sermon.
And I listened to the whole...
the only one.
I listened to all the worship, too. Our worship team did good Sunday.
They did.
Yeah, they really
do good every Sunday.
They did. They do. But they did good Sunday, and I told them. Anyway, so I'm watching Matt Chandler, and he makes this comment. People that come to our church have told me before, well, of course I'm a Christian, Matt. I was born in San Antonio.
Yes. What does that even mean?
I don't know, but I guess people in San Antonio think they are.
Everybody that's born here.
Anyone born in San Antonio, you're going to heaven.
I mean, this is paradise.
Yeah. But anyway, I heard that, and I thought about this. Like,
it's such a random thing to say. Love it.
It's almost as if we're afraid to doubt because maybe we're in the Bible Belt or because we're in this place like we're...
Well, I can tell you this. Within the conversation about the individual we were talking about downstairs, I had a great conversation with him on Friday. That's one of his struggles, is that he feels like if he doubts, everybody ostracizes him, so he never brings up his doubt. But he's deeply struggling.
Genuinely
with his
doubting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not that even that is... We often don't wrestle through the struggle of what those doubts are. Yeah. You look at Thomas. Thomas wrestled with some pretty intense... I would love to know who these are. You know, when you read commentaries on who those doubters were, some say there was other people, not just the 11.
Well, I guarantee there was other people than just the 11. The 11 were there.
Well, so what they say is that it wasn't the 11 anymore that were doubting. It was the other people.
There were how many disciples at the end in Acts?
120.
Right. So
in the upper room.
Right.
Well, but it mentions specifically that the 11 went. So it's either some of them were still doubting after doing
So this commentary says this. It says the Greek verb here implies hesitation or indecision. So I haven't fully decided if this is the risen Jesus, right? Okay. Or if he even died at all.
Sure. The swoon.
Rather than unbelief is what it says.
Of who he is.
Hesitation or indecision. The disciples are struggling to...
Spaceship.
The disciples are struggling to comprehend what they are witnessing. So this says the 11 are having a hard time. Thomas.
Sure.
I won't believe unless I touch his wounds, right?
But I think that's often what we're doubting. I don't know if some people might doubt salvation in the sense of wrestling through that. But I think a lot of times, even this person I was talking to, I think the doubts that we have are just like, hey, this doesn't quite make sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, why can't, I don't know. Why can't I do something? You know, the Bible says I can't do that, but why? And I think those struggles are the ones that we really need to do a better job of just walking through life with them.
Boom. That's what I'm getting at with this. So, share Christ.
It took me how long to get there, but I got it.
7:12. It's 7:12 right now?
Yes.
What time is it? 7:13.
We're at 40 minutes, man. You good.
Share Christ, show love.
Ooh.
That
was what they said.
Yeah, that's what they said. I didn't come up with that.
The double E's.
Yeah.
We can't operate in share Christ, show love.
That doesn't. That doesn't really do the first G.
What?
That doesn't do the first GC. That one doesn't share Christ. What was the other one?
Show love.
Those are both like
Show
the
love,
Great
share
Commission. They're not. Neither of them have to deal with.
That's why I asked
love
it.
the Lord your God with all your heart. It's kind of a bad tagline.
We're gonna have to make a phone call.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
I guess what I'm getting at is we can't even. I got super stoked and excited to get back home and be like, "Hey, check this out!" And then I read, "But some doubted," and I'm like deflated balloon that like flops everywhere. Because I think we got to do that before we get to all authority and heaven and earth has been given to me. So now go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything I commanded. Surely I am with you to the very end.
I think some of the best things for a church is when there's new believers walking through the door. And the reason why I say that is twofold. One is a new believer is like a child. They'll ask why. We don't ask why anymore because that's the way we've always done it. You know, like we don't even know why we... I don't know, like the old person that's sitting in the church.
We always done it. It's
that's
clear
the way
full.
the cookie crumbles.
This
It's
is
clear
full.
You know, what I'm saying is like we just that's because that's what the 9 marks says, or that's because I'm on Mark. Yeah, I couldn't think of what's that thing you just sent me. You just sent me Texas
Baptist distinctives.
That's because that's what the Baptist distinctive says. We don't even realize why we. I have no idea why I believe that. That's because that's the way we've always done it.
Larry.
A new believer will begin to ask questions. It'll challenge us. It'll grow us. But unfortunately, most of us aren't around new believers. A lot of us are around a stagnant group of people. Ugh, that's brutal. But it's true.
No one's watching it.
No one's watching it. Everybody heard about it.
Father-in-law is not even
keep getting more and more depressing as I talk. You can't do it. You're all alone.
And you're stagnant. So here's a friendlier way to say it. So we're comfortable in our faith.
Yeah.
We're comfortable in our faith right now. Not realizing that our doubts are genuine doubts.
Yeah.
And so how do we walk through that in a healthy way? Again,
Come to Sunday school June 6th.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I said it sarcastically, but seriously, that's Wednesday night Bible studies. Sitting and having these conversations. The introductory of James, what do we call it?
Introductory survey of the book of James.
Yeah. Some of those things we just got to challenge ourselves to actually learn. You just got to take the time to learn it. You can't absorb knowledge through osmosis. It actually takes a process of, which, man, I hate the process, I'm not going to lie. So, but those things do, and when you begin to disciple somebody else, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them, right? When you are going and making disciples, that means you are a disciple. You understand the process of what's going on, and you've become a disciple of Christ, and therefore people behind you want to become disciples. And so I think that's the hard part, is we oftentimes don't know our own faith well enough to feel like we should go.
So Sunday morning, before your sermon,
Okay.
you and I were texting at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And I text you because I downloaded a book and I was listening to it on the plane.
Okay.
And so it's a book we were talking about. Seminary teaches you how to memorize a menu, but that doesn't ensure that you will ever taste the food.
Yeah. And it's so true. It's so good.
And then
then I smart alecked back.
Well, so I said, talk about living our unity out through the fruit of the Spirit. That's the reference that he was referencing.
Right.
Francis Channon, Until Unity.
Right.
And then you said, yep, but you can't order and taste it if you don't know the menu.
Yeah.
Which is true. But I had to turn off my device.
Shut off after that?
I had to turn off my device because the plane started leaving. But
it is true. You can. And I literally talked about this on Sunday. You can as you were saying, you can know your 5 points to go do the Great Commission, and you can theologically understand it to the max in all the seminary schools that you want to do.
But it doesn't ensure
that you're going to taste it. But you can't taste an order off the menu if you don't understand it, which is the other side. We just shove food in our kids' mouths, right? And they don't have any idea of what's going on or the why. Sorry.
Or the benefits.
Oh, the benefits. So you have to understand the purpose behind the menu to get the food, and you also have to understand, though, you need the food. You got to taste it. You got to taste and see that the Lord is good, which I know is one of your favorite things. But within that, I agree. I think when we look at the Great Commandment and the Great Commission, part of that, though, is, even as I'm saying this, a lot of people will say, well, I'm not going to go out because I'm not ready then. And I think that's part of the challenge as well, is I've always heard it say this way, that the verb, and people always argue, I know you hate this, but it's as you are going. Meaning,
as you go.
As you go, meaning as you're living life, you should be making disciples. It's not necessarily that you have to go overseas and move across 40 states and 10 continents. There's not 10, but to get to where you want to go and make disciples. It's literally as you're being persecuted, as you were leaving the city, as you were traveling, as you were doing these things, make disciples as you live your life. So it's not something like get trained up for, and now I'm ready because I have no more doubts. You're never ready. You're never ready to have kids. You're never ready to do some of these things.
The United States is no longer the number one sending mission country. There's actually more countries that send people here.
That's crazy to think about.
Because I think we've gotten in this mindset of, I'm not...
I was born in San Antonio.
I was born in...
I'm a Christian.
210, Countdown City, I'm ready to go.
I wasn't born, so I guess I still needed Jesus.
Yeah, I wasn't born here either.
I wasn't born.
Hey! Whoa, wait. None of us are saved.
No.
You got some work to do. Yeah. So I think for me, part of that is that even in our doubts, we are still supposed to be, like, that's not an excuse to say I'm not going to do the Great Commission. I guess it's kind of where I'm trying to get at there. None of us are going to be perfect. None of us are going to, fully understand everything. That doesn't mean we're not supposed to be out there trying to gain understanding and trying to make disciples.
Yeah, I think for me, rather than devise some plan off of these two passages, I think I want to sit in them and realize, I can't do this, but I want it. Mm-hmm. I want to love God with my whole heart, my whole soul and mind, all of me. I want to love others. We want that for our own, in our households, right? And then our neighbors, which then we get into Acts, and it starts giving you specific locations. Acts 1:8, which that's the third passage you could probably tie in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the next one, realizing that it's Jesus who has the authority, right? And he's saying, so go. And then again, give some program to it. Make disciples, baptize, teach, help people to be pointed to where obedience should be at. And it's not within the program. It's not teach people to obey that they should be here at 9:15 on Sunday mornings for Sunday school.
June 6th.
Now, those are good things to do. June 6th, be here at 9:15 and stay for church. But obedience is hey, point people to Jesus so they obey, love God, love others. So I think they're kind of tied in backwards for me, but...
I guess my last point of the caution there is just that oftentimes people are like, oh, I'm not a good enough Christian to lead somebody else to Christ. And that's, one is, nobody is good enough Christian, right? And it kind of goes back to what I was trying to say. None of us love God in that way. We all are falling short of that. And it is by God's grace and by the Holy Spirit that we're able to complete the Great Commission and the Great Commandment. And it's only because of those things. None of us have earned it. You can't go to enough seminary. You can't get enough degrees in Bible. You can't memorize the whole thing and get in and succeed. It doesn't work that way. It takes an act of God. But God uses us broken. What's that verse you always quote?
Yeah,
At
4:13.
Ordinary.
Everyday, ordinary, but you can tell they've been with Jesus.
Yeah. He uses
Uneducated.
He uses uneducated, ordinary people like us to to change the world. And ultimately but sitting at home twiddling your thumbs doesn't get it done either.
He uses them to be changed and then change the world.
Hmm.
I think that's the part I really want to focus on now that I'm preaching again. Jerk.
But for how long?
Now
No.
that you're working.
No, but seriously, like this is what's hit me.
No, but for real.
Well, because you just the way you said it, and this is I think the way I've always said it too, because it's assuming that the first part is done. Because you just said he uses ordinary, uneducated, everyday men or people to change the world.
Okay.
He changed them first, and maybe that's why the "but some doubted" has stood out to me more than ever, which doesn't seem as eureka to the whole world, but it does to me. Like that's what was changed first.
Yeah.
A byproduct of that is share Christ, show love.
Sure.
And so for me, maybe it's just for me to hear that. I don't know. But
Well, probably not. It was in the Bible. It's probably for all of us.
true. It's probably for all of you. So
Yeah.
anyways,
It's good.
I think it is
Touche.
Touche. Come hang out with us.
GC2.
GCQ.
You gonna pray?
Yeah, I am, but didn't know if you had anything else.
No.
Alright, I'll pray. God, we so need you. Thank you for sending your son, and thank you for sending your son to point out we are broken and we are so not worthy, but Jesus extends the grace, the forgiveness, and gives the direction that we need. And so we look to you. Help our unbelief. Give that doubt what we need so that we cling our hearts and our minds to you, that we give all of our soul, strength, and mind to you. And help us to love people, starting in our own households, with our spouses, our kids, our moms, dads, our siblings, our neighbors. God, just give us that strength to love the way you love. And let that be the change needed to then take it to the church, to be disciples, to be mobilized as members of a movement to help other people to see you, God. And so we thank you that we get to be a part of this together and with you. It's in your name, pray. Amen.
Mobilize members of a movement.
Did I just say that?
Good.
The 3M. The 3M.
PH.
PH5. That's the name of our band, bros. PH5 spelled with a PH.
Fish, is that? Is that fish?
There's a band called Fish and it's spelled with a
Yeah.
PH.